Live. This is Reflection Artist Live, episode number 68, and we have a special episode today because we have all of the diamond sponsors for the 2022 Southern Detailers Conference. That is also known as SDC, but that is something that's going to be next weekend, which would be June, I want to say, gosh, off the top, 4th, 5th, and 6th. 4th and 5th, that's right, yeah. All my days run together lately, so yeah, don't mind me. But June 4th and 5th, that will be held in Lexington, Kentucky at the Convention Center. And we have on with us today the wonderful diamond sponsors of the show and of the event. So we want to dive into talking with them and giving you guys a kind of a sneak peek heads up on what to expect with the Southern Detailers Conference. This is the official 3rd year of the conference. It grew from just a small in-house at a detail facility, Detail Lex by Daryl Lyons. And then of course, going into the convention center last year, we had some issues with the pandemic situation that set us back a year. However, moving forward, it is getting bigger, it is getting better, and it is for detailers by detailers. So this is directly an event for the detail industry, where you're able to get in front of the manufacturers, the vendors, anybody you look up to that as an idol in the industry or a leader in the industry that you want to be able to speak with one-on-one, along with education. There are a lot of the manufacturers that are going to be there hosting educational classes on both those days, both Saturday and Sunday, so you guys could get in front of them and be able to learn more about the product process and or just getting something new in front of you overall. So let's start off by going down the list. We have diamond sponsors overall, just to give you guys more of a quick bullet point. We have Autogeek, Megan, of course. She's on the screen, the wave. And then we have Detail Bookie, Dustin. He's not with us today. He is a busy man. He wears a lot of hats for what he does. So we're gonna speak for him today. Great guy. You definitely want to visit him. We have Pro Products, John. Hey, John, wave. And then you have, of course, Zenware, URO-TEC, Jody, and Rod. So we want to dive into what's going to be exciting, what's going to be at their booth. So let's start with Megan. I have her first on the list, and let's go ahead and talk about what's going to be there on behalf of Autogeek. What's exciting? What's there for everybody to come and talk to us at the booth about?
Well, I think for us this year, we're really going to focus on a lot of the tools and the pads. We're going to bring a nice display. I think our mission is to let everybody get their hands on everything, try out stuff. I know, Justin, you and Robin are teaching some classes that get people a little involved in trying out different products and machines and stuff. So we're kind of looking to get people with their hands, using the products, using the tools, and just, kind of getting back out there. I feel like even though we had it last year, traffic was a little low because of COVID. So I think we're just kind of excited to get back out there and talk to everybody.
Nice. And that's, one thing about with you guys at Autogeek, with being able to carry so many different brands and as a hub, to say, of all these different brands, that's something that as a detailer and as a technician, end user, it's one of those things. You have so many options at one booth to play with and get your hands on and get in front of those brands, which is very neat. John, let's go to you. What do you guys have at Pro Products that you're going to be able to showcase this year at SDC?
Well, first of all, it won't be the booth that we had last year that we were up till 4 in the morning.
Oh man, that was so much fun to watch you guys struggle.
No.
That was the best entertainment.
It was a nice booth though. Once everything was, fine-tuned, you guys had a really badass booth. I give you that.
It was beautiful, and that has been relegated to SEMA only. So
booth like that next year, SEMA only.
No offense, Big D or MTE, but no, it's going to be. We're doing a 20 by 20 tent, and what we're pushing this year, we're launching a rinseless wash to round out our line. Basically, as being a legacy company, we have so many products in the line, and we're just trying to bring out stuff that's really won't cannibalize other products in the line, and trying to bring out stuff that's relevant to the current detail industry. Also, we're launching our new label line. We've going back to a more uniform label across the product line from 4-ounce bottle to 55-gallon drum. And then the education classes, we've got 4 scheduled. And they've really done it right this year by having the classes in the morning and then the exhibit hall open from 12 to 5. So there's no conflict for the attendees, you know, to choose between the classes themselves or to walk the hall or in between the conflict of which classes to attend. So they're all scheduled really nicely. So yeah, and I'm following up on Megan's, you know, comments. It's exactly that. It's about getting people in front of you and us in front of them and hands-on, you know, getting them really what they can't get at the other trade shows. And that's, you know, one-on-one basis, and then also get a buffer, a tool, or whatever they want in their hands in the education classes. And looking at the schedule, there's a great variety amongst all the different suppliers. So that's what we got going on this year.
Very nice. Now, you had mentioned in the beginning, and I know that we've had you on as a guest before, along with some of your representatives on the podcast, but what you mean when you say legacy, how far back does Pro go?
Well, we're now 86 years, coming on 87 this year. It's 1935. My grandfather started the company. So
Yeah, Jody was only like 2 years old when you started it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you look pretty good for 86.
yeah.
Well, and now that's cool that you guys are going in a direction from the pints to drums. I mean, that's huge, especially for detailers. And now, is that something that you once did and strayed away from it and are revisiting, or how did that work?
We've always had it. It's just, you know, history repeats itself. 25 years ago, we had a uniform line across everything. You looked at it and it was all uniform. Then we tried to get, then we got a little fancy as graphics became more popular, you know, and we started adding background images, and we started doing different colored logos. And then all of a sudden, our trademark law firm said, "Whoa, timeout! No purple Pro logos, no, you know, pink Pro logos. Stick to your standard logo." So we've reeled it all back in and made a uniform line, and across the board, you know, and all of the different sizes. So it's been quite an undertaking. We're going to be really excited to launch it at SDC.
That's super cool. And I'm sure a lot of detailers that have, you know, continued to use your line, and new detailers that will start to use your line will appreciate that offering and everything with it being uniform and having that, what we consider product synergy.
Exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Jody, Rod, what does Zenware, Road-FS, what are you guys bringing to the table and showcasing at SDC? And then were you guys, I can't remember, were you guys at the very first one when we did it at Big D shop?
No,
No,
we were not
we were
at the
the
first one. We
second.
were just at the second one last year.
Okay.
And then, yeah, like this year, there's a ton of stuff we're bringing this year. So we have a bunch of surprises. We have some stuff we're going to talk about, but we've basically done a rewrite of a lot of the software. We have some online scheduling, huge advancements in the inventory tracking area, where people that are distributors can actually order through the software now. And then one of the biggest things we've been doing is that we're tapping into a bunch of multilingual capabilities now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so Road-FS supports Spanish, French, any language other than Chinese characters. So all of your customer facing experience, your invoices, your service descriptions, all that can be in any language. So we're really excited about that, working with some key partners this summer to enter the Latin American markets, as well as we also have some major enhancements in time tracking and commissions, how you pay your guys. So yeah, we've been really busy this winter. So
Very nice. Now, with the language aspect, is that something that, you know, it starts saying English and you want to just to hit a button to convert it to whatever language options are there? Will that be something?
that's down the road right now.
Okay.
What we've done is all of the key places that are a customer facing experience, all of those you can custom put all of the appropriate language descriptions in there for you.
And some of the program itself, you can change the language of it as well. So a lot of times that'll come a chunk at a time as necessary, but we have opened that up to where, for instance, if when you're selling a product and you want it to say product for your text, it's now going to say whatever, productos, or whatever language you want in there. The other thing for support, and Jody's being a little shy about it, but Jody is absolutely fluent in multiple languages.
No hay ninguna palabra
so
que puedo expresar.
So Jody has been able to support a lot of people, and that's how we're getting into some of those things. I basically can cuss, order a beer, and go to the bathroom. That's about it, which is all I need, really. You take me to a foreign country and I'm good. That's all I need. So we're going to be introducing a lot of that stuff, as well as doing some hands-on training. I love that aspect of the Southern Detailers Conference. And actually, big shout out to Autogeek. You guys have been doing that for years. I can remember one of the very first MTEs I ever went to. You guys had a booth where I got my hands on a polisher within like 30 seconds of walking in the door. So it's kind of that experience for those people out there that have never been to a show like this. That's the idea behind it, is get your hands on it. So our training that we bring to the SDC for the software is a little different in that I don't just stand up there and rattle off. We bring people up and they can, get in, dive in, do what they need to do, poke around in it, add stuff, remove stuff, send invoices. We're going to use Justin's email for every invoice at SDC. So anytime anybody does anything, it'll go right to Justin.
That's a true story. That's actually happened. I don't know what it is, but
We've tried to eliminate that, but yeah.
That was me. I can't deny that one. That was me. So
well,
anyway, we will not be doing that. That's a joke. We're going to use Megan this year because we got to spread it around.
Thank you.
well, one thing I got to say about you guys, and I got to put you guys forward because, you guys have really set the trend for software in the detail industry. I mean, you guys are really the first ones to hit the ground and make it happen and make it useful, especially working close with a lot of elite detailers, a lot of groups such as the Mafia. And you guys have truly been involved in the industry in the groundwork of the trenches of detailing, and being out there and actually getting a polisher in your hand and getting the experience as well. And it's been really neat to see that, on top of being so neutral and working with the other software companies. And really,
Sure.
between, even Dustin with Detail Bookie, Mike with Michael with URO-WOOL, it's just seeing that and seeing you guys vibe at shows. It's so cool to see that. And that really sets the stage for how all the manufacturers should truly work together, whether it be products or software. But there's that common ground that you guys have helped set that trend.
It's an interesting experience, having gone all the way from 2010, 9, right, when we first came to MTE, and people are like, yeah, what are you talking about? I got paper and I got a pencil. I can send an invoice, to now have key players that are saying, look, we can help your business. And all of them approach it a little differently. All of them have their advantages. And we're always like, look, a lot of times they're like, which one's best? I'm like, I don't know until I talk about your business. So go talk to each one of the software guys, see which one's a good fit for you, that they have the support for you, the features that you need, and choose the team that's going to be there for you. And it's, there's good in all of us, and it's fun to see, players in that are so invested. I mean, Dustin is one of the nicest guys in the industry, and we have nothing but respect for him and the other players, but it's been fun to kind of talk to Dustin and see him come in and play such a good positive role in the industry. So
yeah, and I think that's really the key. I appreciate you saying that, because a lot of the product companies, I mean, Buff and Shine and Pro, you guys play nice with the other companies as well. You're friends with the other manufacturers, and there's no animosity between us. I have a lot of respect for the other companies, just because they're, they came into the market. They saw that there was a need for what they have. And we've actually walked people over to other booths that weren't a fit for us. And so we walked a potential client over and said, hey, this is so-and-so, they're looking for something that I know your software does really well. So there's enough room out there for all of us. And that's, we're just excited to be there. I'm glad that Dustin and the Detail Bookie crew are also on the Diamond sponsorship, because it helps kind of show that, we're all on the same level.
Yeah, no, it's worked out very well. And I like the fact that everybody does, to your point, work together that works out very nice, and it's just leading by example, right?
And Dustin,
Yeah,
not only,
that's what it
Absolutely.
takes, right? And you know, it's like Rod and I, we always talk about, look, we're Switzerland. We just want to help people's businesses, right? Because all of you detailers are trying to figure out what knobs to twist, what volume to pump up, what, you know, what systems to adopt to help grow your business. And Rod and I, you know, and that's why we do our podcast as well. It's like, look, if we can bring an insight that helps your business, whether you're using URO-FIBER or not, you know, that's okay. I mean, yeah, we'd love to have you using URO-FIBER, but the goal is to help you elevate your business, because if all of the detailing industry businesses are growing together, it helps everybody across the board, whether you're in California or Kentucky or Florida or wherever. You know, it's about elevating the industry.
100%. And that, you know, with products in hand as a technician, you know, there's the deep rooted aspect of our industry has always been, you know, if you get the products in your hand, you could detail. Where we lacked was the business side, and that's what software brings to the table. It's almost, I want to say, it's not completely untapped market, but it doesn't have as deep of roots as the product side of the market, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are really, you know, with you and everybody else who's in that space now, which is only a handful, you guys are able to help build that business side of what the detailers tend to lack to say, or just fall short of, because they're so focused on the product and the process, which is great. But the business side is really what helps out, and having software to help you with that makes a world of a difference.
Yep. And so I do know that Dustin couldn't make it. I do know that they're bringing a lot of new stuff to the table too. They have some new reporting tools, and they've enhanced their dashboard area. And like I said, Dustin's a great guy. Go talk to Dustin. I know we have a great saying here: if you can't use URO-FIBER, you might as well use Detail Bookie. No, I'm just kidding, Dustin. You can rib me when you're there. In all seriousness, you should check out all of them. I mean, seriously, you should check out all of them and go take the one that fits your business model. Some of them work better with Detail Bookie. Some of them work better with us. And it depends on the size of your company and what is really your pain point. And you guys all know how fast technology moves. I mean, tomorrow there's going to be 15 new phones out there and some new app that's going to help you change the world. And we've got to stay, you know, I know that the other software companies do the same thing. We stay on the pulse of that. And when a new app comes out with a new feature, we're constantly looking, can we integrate with that? Or is that something we need to develop ourselves? So that is really, we're always changing. And I know that all the software companies out there are going to have brand new features all the time. That's kind of the way you got to stay in business, is to have new features. So
Great. I love it. I love that you were able to, you know, kind of speak on behalf of Dustin and get some information out there for him as well, with him not being available today. So.
Yeah, so Dustin slipped me the 20 instead of him.
yeah, that's why I said that stuff. So.
that's all. 20 is all it took, huh?
Yeah, we're cheap. We're cheap,
cheap.
man.
Hey,
When you got
$20,
faces like
$20.
this, you have to be cheap.
No,
So-
software's made a huge impact, Justin, not only at the detail shop level, but for our distributors and their inventory management, their route management, and it even trickles up farther. I'm working with Jody and Rod on inventory management for my facility in Kentucky. It's been a long time needed, and got with these guys, and they're able to. We're working together to try and streamline my facility there. So it's across the whole spectrum.
Very nice. Well, if anybody knows inventory management, Megan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, going from, you know, exciting and new things, let's talk about what made you guys make a decision to be involved at a diamond sponsor level. Like, what was it that you saw that the value of what that brings and involvement? And again, we'll start with you, Megan, and the decision to become a diamond sponsor. What made you make that decision?
I think this is gonna be a very easy answer. Daryl asked me. Literally, he asked me.
We're gonna go around the table and everybody's gonna have the same answer.
But you know what? I think for us, you know, anything that supports the industry, you know, how do you say no? This is completely for the detailers. You know, I mean, not that we don't support Mobile Tech, you know, Expo, but you know, this is right to the core of our customers. So for us not to support it just doesn't make sense to me. We try as much as we can to give back to the industry and help out, the community. We're, as you know, we've been doing classes since last Saturday, and I've got 2 that went on yesterday and 2 more tomorrow. So for us, whatever we can do to make sure that we take care of the industry and keep it moving and keep, like, I love the fact that we get everybody together, whether it's the classes or you get these people face to face with the vendors. Or, I know last year at the SDC, we had a lot of new kids, and I think a lot of them worked for Daryl, but that wanted to try the different polishers, that it was their first polisher purchase, and they were taking out their own money. So it was kind of exciting. These kids probably are 22 years old, and they're buying, $600 worth of polisher and pad. And I thought that was just really cool. You're seeing, we all work with a lot of the veterans in the industry, but we were seeing a lot of the new kids coming up. So that tells me right there, this industry is on the right track. We're all doing the right thing. We're educating and supporting them. And I can't see not being there and helping out for something like this to go on.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of been, like you said, the trend for Autogeek with leading by education. It's always been one of the biggest things, and a lot of other manufacturers have fallen into that same avenue to say, because it does help the industry and it helps the end user. It just encompasses everything as a full circle, which is awesome.
Yeah, we were very fortunate with the class that came in on Monday. We had a 2-day class with G-Technique and Rupes in the garage. We did introductions, and I don't think there was anybody in there that would say they were comfortable saying they were professional. We had the most youngest, greenest class we've ever had, and it was the most fun, the most educational. And yesterday when they were getting their awards, they were all beaming. And I just thought, well, this is why we do this.
Yep.
You know what, teaching isn't about making money, because we all know you don't. But when those kids walk away and they feel good about themselves and they're going to be able to provide for themselves, that's, what a great feeling. And the fact that I feel honored that I'm in a position with this company that we can give back that way. It's been a long road to get, a great training program, and here we are. And we've had such great support with different vendors. And of course, we have great trainers, you, Robin. And
Yeah.
so it was just, I don't know. I think yesterday was just kind of a really cool moment. Obviously we have a lot of classes come through, but that one kind of hit home, because I was like, man, a few kids called me mom as they were leaving. And because that's what Todd Helms called me, and he called me it for the past 2 days. So I thought it was cute that they felt, comfortable. And I also realized I could actually give birth to most of them. So it was a really cool day. So yeah, mom enjoyed it. Mom took them all out to dinner, and we had a good time.
There you go.
That's awesome.
I think that's kind of the key to the whole SDC is around education. And Jody and I are trying to put a real emphasis this year on education. We were just at the Rupes Training Center a couple of weeks ago and working with Todd and Paul and Jason, Rose, and Sarah.
Awesome.
And I think, for this group personally, I mean, a big shout out to Justin. In a training, you're just such an approachable person. And you have that kind of demeanor that you just help out with very few words, but with the right instruction. Because I know a lot of people are very nervous about a training. They're nervous about throwing out their lack of skill. And sometimes it just takes a little touch here or there, a little instruction. And I can remember a training that I was at with most of the Mafia guys. Jason, you were there, and Justin was there, Jason Rose, Rennie Doyle, Mark Elliott, the Parker brothers. I mean, a lot of really big name guys. And we were working on a blue Honda, and there were hardly any words spoken, but I was polishing on the hood, and it was just a finger from Justin that came over the top, and just a finger on top of the polisher. And all you said was a little more pressure. And that's really all that was needed, was for you to say that. There was no judgment. There was no, you're doing it wrong. It was very, very subtle, but I think that's, as an instructor, you know, it's really hard to kind of pick out each person's personality. And I have a pretty loud, bold personality. And a lot of people react to that with loud and bold, which is fine for me. But on a personal level, when I put that persona aside, that kind of instruction is very helpful to me. And so I think that's the kind of thing people can expect. I know that that's what Megan sees in you as an instructor, and a lot of people that have been through any kind of a training with you is that kind of just neutral demeanor, very calm and very helpful. So I would encourage people, you know, that have never met Justin to reach out when you're there to any of the instructors that are, but Justin particularly is a really, really good person to just ask a question. I mean, I say with full confidence, there are several people in this industry that I could pick up the phone and call, and I have done this before, and I can call Justin and he'll answer his phone and answer my question. So,
And his number is.
and his number is
Ron, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, and by the way, congratulations. This is the first time I've actually spoken to you face to face and seen your actual face since your new son was born. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been very good, and everything's been very positive, healthy. So I couldn't have asked for a better scenario. And wife's doing good as well. She's right back to it as far as driving, and it's just, she bounced back very quickly, and she's doing well. So I'm very happy. Now it's just juggling our daughter and him, two little ones. Yeah, that's the challenge.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But
I'm still doing that, Justin. My kids are 26 and 23. So
Yeah, it doesn't change.
It doesn't change.
You know, I went to the Bahamas for 7 days last year in August, and this is the result of it. So, I mean,
yeah, there you go.
What are you
got
gonna
your
do, right?
Bahamas souvenir, just like I
Yeah.
have my
Yeah.
Hawaiian souvenir. So
Yeah. So, John, for you, what was the decision for you to become a diamond sponsor and get involved at this level?
Again, follow up on Megan, Daryl asked, and we were there, and partly logistics. Our Kentucky facility is an hour away from Daryl shop, and we were there for the inaugural. And when he decided to upgrade it to the convention center and really make it a trade show, I've told Daryl I was a little hesitant. I was, it was a big, leap, and we decided to just take that leap of faith with him. We believed in his vision. And it is a great vision. Like you said, it's a trade show for detailers, by detailers, and that's what we need. SEMA's great, but it's overwhelming. It's just almost too much, and it's across the whole spectrum. MTE, it's slowly but surely we're taking it over, right? From PB, from paint and body to detail, but this one is strictly for us and for our detailers, and we want to be on the ground level and see this thing through and watch it grow and blossom. And I think it's on the right track, and that's why we decided to jump in as a diamond sponsor. Very
nice. And again, being in your hometown, home state, I should say.
Right.
I mean, it's just, why not, right? It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. It's a if we can get, I think the traffic's going to grow each and every year. I think Regan was right. Last year was a little down because of COVID, and hopefully we put all that behind us and we move forward and get greater traffics with the surrounding states. And then the more we promote it, I think the more you'll see people traveling from even farther to be a part of this. And not only for us as diamond sponsors, but to inspire the rest of the ones that have booths there to jump in and take part in this, and the ones that aren't taking part to see that, hey, this is a valid show. It's going to blossom, and it's going to become bigger and bigger, and they need to be on board. Because it's why not? It's all about education. It's all about elevating the industry. The more we can lay the foundation for like the people that came through Autogeek that are greenhorns, and lay the foundation with them right from the start, rather than old school where they learned from whoever was at the detail shop, the longest tenured person, whether that person had the right skills or the wrong skills. And probably generally it's a mix of both, right? So get them started off the right track, so they not only know how to lay the foundation for the detail process, but the software, the business part of it too. I mean, it is all encompassing at this show, and they can get just a broad spectrum from not only learning about how to detail and the products, but how to run their business as well.
No, I agree. And that's the best part about it. It's so well-rounded, right? It allows
Right.
you, and it is growing. And those who, may have been hesitant to join, as a manufacturer or vendor, I get it. The last couple of years, there's a lot of hesitation in doing anything, right?
Right.
But much less it being a newer show and also seeing the direction it goes in. And it is going in a very positive direction, and growth sometimes starts a little slow, but man, you never know. This could be in the next year or two, it could blow up into something where, we might have to find a bigger venue to provide all the foot traffic. And at that point, I think that those that may have been hesitant will see, okay, this is definitely a show that's here to stay, and it's well worth investing into for not just their brand, but for the total industry aspect as well.
And absolutely. Well, Sheldon and Convex thought so too, right? So
Yep.
by taking over the show, and so they're looking for bigger and better things for years to come as well. So
That should speak in volume in itself, the fact that Sheldon had, taken part in controlling the show and the direction, because that in itself and what they have in their resume, that's just something you don't throw your hat in for no reason, just to see, it may work, it may not work. I mean, they're basically going to make it work regardless.
well, Big D didn't have very much hair left to pull out, so it's a good thing he can rely on Sheldon now to take it over and take it to new heights.
Yeah, and it's in the years past, when there was more time on the table, and me and Dee used to speak a lot when we had more time to speak, with both of us being so busy now. He was very hesitant, and he always, brought it up to me. Well, I would say always, but there was a few times he had brought the idea up about wanting to do something, like SDC. And it was one of those things. I was like, if you see it and it's something, it can be done, do it. And,
Right.
I got to give him credit. He took the bull by its horns and really pushed to make it happen. And now look what it's blossomed into, with or without him being on the forefront of it, which, as anybody who grows a business, they have to step back into the shadows and let everything blossom on its own. And that's kind of where this is going. This is taking place to where, again, for detailers by detailers, where it's not just one single face, it's the face of the industry and the face of the vendors.
Absolutely. He got some good industry people, Bob Myers, Clint Hintz, to help him along the way. And he did a really good job of sort of backing away and let people have their say in what is his show. And like I said, Sheldon's, done really well with how they planned it this year as well. So looking forward for years to come.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yep.
All right. So Jody, Rod, what was the ultimate decision for you guys? I mean, what made you guys get involved at the Diamond sponsorship level?
I think the biggest thing was the vision, right? There were so many times that we went to Mobile Tech Expo for years. I mean, we've been going to Mobile Tech since it was all PDR guys that were half drunk at 2 and stumbling in at 8 and going to the show, right? And we consistently heard there needs to be a detailer conference. Man, how come we don't have our own? When's somebody going to step up and do it? And we just saw the vision that Daryl was bringing to the table, and we're like, you know what, we're going to do our small part in helping the industry grow. So it was, in support of that vision, and we're committed to being part of the show, and it's we're really looking forward to it. So we're actually going to be the MCs of the award ceremony.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a low point. They made a bad decision there, but So
who's going to be on the turntable and who's going to be on the mic?
I have the mic. So that's the worst decision of all, because usually I hear it the same time you are. So no, we went to the facility. We were down there for a training, and so we jumped into the facility, and it is phenomenal. Last year, the dinner at the evening, we had to double the number of seats at the night of the dinner. And so this year they put us in a massive facility. I think it holds 3,500 people. It's a huge facility.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. Custom lighting, and it's over the top. And that is one of the things that Sheldon was able to bring to the table, is just kind of up the level of questions that were being asked of the facilities. And again, I think, to answer your question, it really was just you know, we were all sitting in the lobby and he was talking about what are we going to do next year? And we didn't really hesitate. It was just, it's something for the industry. We've always been, you know, supporting the industry helps us, it helps you, it helps every company out there. And you're only going to get out of an industry what you put into it. And so our philosophy is we're going to go in 100%. You know that about us, Justin. We go in 100% in everything we're doing. And we figure that we're going to get the maximum out of it. And I know that that's how the other diamond sponsors feel. Again, I'll step in here for Dustin. I know that's how he feels. He's 100% into the industry. You know, he has a shop that's a fantastic detailing shop. And so he's the same way. He was 100%, and there was no hesitation from Dustin at Detail Bookie or any of us as the diamond sponsors to jump right in and do it.
Nice, very nice. Well, that's good. I hope everybody gets a lot out of that in regards to understanding, you know, why the approach was taken. And it's for the better part, of course, the industry, you know, and it's, you know, there's of course, as a business, let's face it, there's a little value in that too for the brand that you bring to the table, but overall it helps grow the industry. And that's the biggest picture, because you get to a certain point to where giving back is really what is the most helpful. Now, the lineup of the weekend, I know going into it, we have, you know, Friday, everybody's kind of traveling and getting in, and we do have the IDA meet and greet Friday evening, from what I understand. And maybe, John, if you don't mind, you know, you're super involved. I mean, we're all super involved with IDA, but John, do you have any feedback you could give on what that looks like and how that's set up to give people an idea of what to look for?
Unfortunately, I don't. Last
No?
year, I was building a booth and I missed it. So
Oh, that's right. That's right. That Empire booth you were building.
Yeah,
we do.
yeah. So
Yeah. You just wanted to make sure, hey, pros here. Did you
yeah,
see
I
this
just,
booth?
I
Pros
just,
there,
I
pros there.
we bought a simple pop-up so I could actually make it this year.
His
No,
booth was so big, the event was inside the booth. Everybody
That's
had to
right,
set up
that's
their
right.
booth inside his.
From the emails I've been seeing from Cheryl on down to the pew, it's in the committees, it's going to be another, you know, well-attended event, you know, as usual. And we're huge supporters of the IDA, and it sort of works hand in hand with being a diamond sponsor as well. We're sort of cross promoting. It's all about elevating the industry and laying the foundation for people to coming into the industry to educate. And IDA is right there. That's the whole mission, right? And so it'll be a good time as usual. And then Daryl's got things planned, I think, for later that night as well. So
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, so
the big difference this year is last year, everybody was out on that really nice patio.
the
and
sun was
doing
going
the-
down and baking.
The
us.
summer evening,
Yeah.
right? And some
Yeah.
people were getting a little hot.
yeah.
And so they're actually going to open it up. So you're going to have an indoor escape as well as an outdoor escape. And it's going to be really stellar. So
And what time is that? Do you guys know off
5
top?
to 7.
Yeah, it's 5 to 7 out there, and it is at the facility. And like Jody said, it's opened up and it's doubled the size because it was such a well-attended thing last time that people were kind of spilling into the lobby. So they opened it up and they're doing it indoors and outdoors.
No more construction. It's
Yeah, the
all
construction
done.
should be done. It's a beautiful facility. It's brand new. I mean, it was brand new, like paint was still wet last year, but it's still a brand new facility and it's beautiful. But yeah, the IDA, I've seen a ton of new interest in the IDA. You know, full disclosure, it's because we've gotten more involved, but we were able to jump on a lot of
We
these-
is in the four of
the
us.
four
not
of us, not
us.
just us, the four of us. So Dustin's on some other committees and I'm on some other committees now. And we've just seen a lot more growth in the IDA from the committees and from the direction of moving things forward. So really positive stuff going on. The IDA has always been positive, but I think now, just like with this show, the more you're involved, the more you get out of it. And so, you know, I think people are stepping up and seeing that the IDA is a great organization. So come out on Friday night for sure.
So with that said, everybody who's traveling on Friday, just a couple of pointers. You know, if you get in right before that or right up on that time frame, just throw your bags in the room, get settled, and come on down. If you get in super early and you know somebody that's there already and you're there before check-in, throw your bags into their room until your check-in's ready. That way you could go downstairs and kind of hang out and network with everybody, and then get ready for the 5 to 7 IDA meet and greet and get in front of everybody. And that will allow you to kind of get your networking on. And Megan, did you have anything you wanted to add to the IDA evening?
No, I know for any of us out there, they still could use a couple of sponsors. So for us in the industry, if you got a little extra room in the budget, I think helping out the IDA is just the right way to go. It helps out all the people that keep us in business. And so Cheryl always appreciates it, and I think it's really good that we can give back. So give them a little help. I know they need a little help at the booth, and I think for the event. So
Yeah, there's a couple of sponsorships left out there for different things. So
Very nice. And
And for those that aren't diamond sponsors, we know that they have a little extra left.
yeah, that's right. We all can't do it all, but yeah, let's kick in where we can.
And then, and let's all be responsible too, and thinking of the matter that we have the IDA meet and greet then, and then we also have the dinner on Saturday night with some outings afterwards. So those of you who don't get out much and don't get to let loose much, relax a little bit, hold your professionalism. You still have to show up, whether you work for a manufacturer or you're there for fun, respect the atmosphere and remember that you're showing up to a show where, you portray yourself to be who you are. So don't let loose too much, because you don't want anybody to look at you sideways the remainder of the time you're there. But enjoy yourself, but just be responsible, because I know that the drinks do start flowing and people tend to get a little loose in their legs. So with that, going into Saturday, we have a great lineup of training, which you can see on the Facebook and social media and the website. And then going into the day, just getting around, networking, getting in front of the vendors and the manufacturers. And then that evening, does anybody have a rundown of what that evening looks like in regards to the timeline of eating and hanging out afterwards?
So I actually was talking to Daryl about that this morning. And because Rod and I need the agenda so that we can MC it in a entertaining way instead of being up there and
semi-professional.
So semi-professional, we won't be stumbling off the stage, but he's still kind of working on that. And so I know that it's going to kick off with a very good dinner. Rod and I saw the selection. So bring your appetite. And then after that, Billy Bogus is going to be the keynote speaker. So if you know him, he is all about getting in the trenches and bringing a product to market. And so I think his insight will be very helpful for a lot of detailers that are trying to build from scratch and feel like they're in the trenches. So shout out to him.
Rough, rugged, and raw Billy.
Yeah. And then we will, of course, have the award ceremonies that will recognize both detailers and detail shops for their excellence in the past year. So we're really excited to be a part of that.
And just so people prepare, what time is dinner, and how long do you say that between dinner, Billy's speech, and of course awards, what's that time frame look like?
So I don't know the specific outline of the agenda yet, but dinner starts at 6. And we'll go, I'm imagining things will go till 9, and then the after crawl will be.
And that last year, we all basically got out on foot as one huge group and went to the local downtown Lexington area and, shared stories, shared drinks, and had a good time.
Yeah. And it's a great place. It's a nice place. It's good walking distance from everything. So
yeah, it's really nice.
I like it because it's a different location and there's not the distraction of a Disney World or anything like that. Not that I'm knocking Florida, but it's nice to get into a different area where you don't have those kind of distractions. You can just kind of experience the local scene and do stuff there. So,
and there's a great taco shop.
There is a great taco shop
a couple blocks away. So follow me if you want some good tacos.
That's right.
I know that the nightlife last year was just pumping, and it was, and being 21, 2021, that is, it was just like, to see it coming out of that 2020 year with the pandemic situation, it was just, wow. It was like just the life and the nightlife, I should say, was going. So I can only imagine what that may look like this year. And that may have been an event outside of what we were doing. I know that there was like a wedding next door at the big chapel, the place that we went, but they had some really neat stuff going on. So, for those that are coming out, be prepared to enjoy yourself.
Yep. Absolutely.
I
So-
think that's commonplace. I think that's every Friday, Saturday night, Justin.
Is that, oh,
Yeah,
is that,
yeah, it is,
okay.
yeah.
For that local
I'm
area.
not a local, you're a local, so
Hey,
I mean.
no,
Yeah.
It's a
University of
college
Kentucky.
town.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's what, that, it's a definite college town.
Yeah, University of Kentucky right there. So
Very nice. Well, that would be our Saturday, and then going into Sunday, and again, respectfully, everybody waking up and getting to the show on time, and starting the day off. We have on Sunday, we have more educational classes up until the afternoon, and then of course going into the remainder of the day to again get in front of everybody at your favorite booth, favorite manufacturer. By this time, you'll have familiarized yourself with some new faces, some old faces, and maybe some new products, some new software. And you know, at that point, I do notice most shows towards the last day, the end of the day, they start to lighten up. So keep this in mind so you can stay and get in front of them if you didn't have the opportunity either Friday night or all day Saturday, if others were swamped with a lot of people in front of them. The end of the show, any show, typically will allow you to have a little bit more availability to get in front of those people and pick their brain, regardless if their voice may be a little hoarse from speaking, because that happens to most of all of us. But yeah, and then I know that traveling, of course, a lot of people tend to, you know, get out of the shows, you know, especially when they're ending on Sunday. We're ending the show, what is it, right at 4 or 5 o'clock? Is
Right,
I'm
right,
correct?
five, yeah.
5, okay. Yeah, so yeah, this will give you opportunity, you know, to take advantage of that, you know, last day of the show, last couple hours to really get in front of people and pick their brain. And that way, when you guys are done, you get to go back to home base and exercise any knowledge you picked up, order any products and put them to use and be more successful with your business and or of course, just making something shiny and clean.
Yeah, and I think one of the unique things to mention on the training is that it's not like a typical training where it's a conference room and somebody behind a podium. Each training area has a car, has products in it. There's full-size boats in there. So this isn't your typical training. You're not going to go listen to Nathan Warren talk about boat detailing in a conference room. You're in front of a boat, you have a polisher in your hand. It's totally different. So when you want to go and do a training, you're signing up for an actual hands-on event. There's smaller trainings, there's less people in there, so you can ask more questions, and it's a really unique environment. I to full disclosure, I thought it was going to be a flop the first year I heard how they were going to do it. I honestly didn't think it was going to work. I thought
It was great.
we don't want to do a training with 8 people in there, 10 people.
Optimistic, that's all. That's
Yeah,
the
I was
perfect
not.
word
I was
for it.
not. So I'm being honest, and it was fantastic.
It
I
was
mean, having a
awesome.
smaller group of people in there and having it hands-on was really fabulous, even for us as a software company, because we had a car in there. We could scan the VIN, we could show the paint, we could work. I mean, we did everything we could do, take photos of it right there. And so for every single person that's doing a training, it's a good experience that we saw. I didn't talk to anybody that put on a training that did not have a good experience. So yeah, totally different concept, totally unique, but it works really, really well.
it
No,
does.
and I'm glad
Walking around last year, it's and the different areas, everybody was encouraging hands-on, which is really good. It breaks down that barrier of being intimidated and getting that person, that attendee involved in the experience. And whatever they're trying to learn, whatever, you know, whether it's rinseless or coding or tools or software, whatever it is, breaking down that barrier, because it's not just somebody standing there and regurgitating stuff and all of a sudden we've all done the classes where you just look at somebody and their eyes are just glazed over like they're off in la la land. It's getting them involved and getting them engaged in the process, and I saw a lot of that last year, you know.
Yep.
Very, very worthwhile.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you gentlemen are touching on this because this is a subject that I was personally leaving for last because I feel like it's a very strong point in regards to what SDC has to offer, but it also allows us to speak on the different perspectives of what's going to be brought to the table on Saturday and Sunday. So this is great. This is awesome. There's definitely a lot that's going to be hands-on, which makes it unique. And from what I understand, we also narrowed down the classes to a cap, correct?
Yeah, there's a cap on them. And the thing about them is they're rotating in and out so often that you can go to more trainings. I know that like if you're at MTE, a lot of times as somebody that's presenting, we're always looking at well, who's opposite of us? You know, I don't want to go up against Justin Lobato talking about coatings, because who's going to come look at software versus looking at Justin? But in this situation, you're doing it multiple times and there's multiple ways to get in there. So the best example I've ever heard is we had a kid that we talked to, and he was a kid, Megan, he was younger than my kids, but he was in there and he's like, well, I've never had, and I fill in the blank brand of polisher in my hand. It goes the opposite direction. And I'm like, they're doing a training. Go talk to Sarah from Rupes. Go talk to Chris from Flex. Get the machine in your hands, and not just in your hands, on an actual car. So go use the machine and be trained from somebody that, you know, knows what they're talking about. And that's why I think the greatest example is, you know, you can go and learn something about a pro product right there and watch somebody put it on a car the right way. You know, I know a lot of people are scared about coatings and they're worried about, you know, flash times and all that stuff. Go talk to the manufacturers. They'll take you in the other room. There's a training. You can actually put it on a car and see what happens. You can watch it, you know, you can watch it flash and see the oh, that's what it means when they say something's flashing. So go do that. Get your hands dirty and go do it, because it will give you that confidence to take that into your business and offer that as an offering.
What are some of the subject areas? You guys are going to be hosting a couple classes or one class. What are some of the subjects that you guys will be covering?
So we walk through both using software just to do the basic get rid of paperwork, but we also do it from the business aspect. So, you know, and I know you and I have talked a lot about stuff with your business where you can take things that you don't even think about. You can take that software warranty that you're giving somebody, or that piece of paper, that receipt, that invoice, they can use that if they get in an accident to come back and reapply a coating. I know there was a situation that you and I talked about where a gal had a ceramic coating done on a car. She got in an accident. She produced the receipt from JL showroom and said to the insurance person, yeah, you paid for the car to get fixed, but I paid this much for a coating, and they repaid for that coating to get applied. So some of the ancillary benefits of how just to run your business and how to make it more efficient, that's what we're trying to focus on this year in our training, is the business side of things.
No, that's a great example too, because that's something that's huge with just software in general, because it speaks in the insurance adjuster's language, to say, instead of a, you know, quick handwritten something or another, that doesn't speak their language. That's BS to them. They want something that's line item that they could say, oh, there's a date. This was their, you know, consumer information, business information, and service rendered. Boom, done. No questions asked, no kickback.
Yep. And that's
John.
everybody's software that's there. I mean, I know Dustin's going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be focusing on the business aspect of it and how you can actually make more money or spend less money by implementing some kind of software.
Very nice. What do you have, John, as far as, are you guys going to be covering any topics?
Absolutely. We have 2 classes, or we have 4 classes, one at 10, one at 11, and on both days. We're going to be launching our rinseless product. So we're going to be doing a rinseless, and it's a perfect scenario for it, right? No water. We're going to be inside a convention center. So and we're just promoting is rinseless right for your operation. So that's one of the classes. We're going to be doing interior cleaning, and then of course, paint correction, and then the synergy coating lineup. And, you know, everybody, it's still all about coatings, right? And paint correction, but with more and more traffic and more detailers entering the industry, education in that aspect becomes more and more important. And
yeah, because that's what they're thriving for, that category.
Absolutely.
Right out the gate.
It's amazing. I mean, the education aspect, how each and every manufacturer's elevated their game to education. It's really impressive across the industry, you know. And that's, you know, not only elevating their education, but elevating, you know, the detailer. And that's what it's about, you know, just getting these guys on the right foundation from day one, you know, and this is a perfect place to do it. So that's what we got going on.
Very nice. Megan, if you don't mind, I don't have it in front of me, but if you can pull up our list of what classes we'll have.
Pull up what you're teaching? You want me to pull up what you're teaching?
I'm doing something else right now, so.
You're busy?
I'm busy right now.
I just looked, you're at 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, so talking about having fun on Saturday
what I
night.
can tell you is that, yes, so, you know, I'm going to be there, you know, wearing 2 hats. The biggest thing for me is I'll be there on behalf of Buff and China. We'll be in booth 604. So we're not taking place in any of the educational stuff this year. Clint, by the way, has done a great job on the board with helping direct the whole show with
Yeah.
quite a few of you, and really orchestrate a lot of this. So it's been taking up a lot of his time along with many of you. So we basically are going to be there representing, of course, Buff and Shine at the booth on the educational side. Anything you guys have questions about when it comes to pads and how to pair them up with machines and products and all that. As an active detailer and running a shop for 14 years and working with so many and being a trainer, these are things that I know because I'm doing it every day. I'm dealing with the same customer, all the darn scenarios that most people deal with paint systems. So that's something that you could visit our booth, again, Buff and Shine, booth 604. And on the flip side, the education, that would be something on behalf of Autogeek, I will be hosting, and that will be both Saturday and Sunday. And then those topics, what did we have?
I'll get you.
Okay.
You have Ask a Pro. You and Robin will be teaching, I think, at the 8 a.m. spot.
So-
I don't have the exact class, so I'm going off of memory here.
That's okay. Oh, I know that one. Now the Ask a Pro is an open free for all. And that's something that we just basically, it's a snowball effect. We get conversation going, we get topics going, and we just want you guys to throw whatever it is that you have questions about products, process, customers, you name it. The good thing about the thing with me and Robin and what we bring to the table in our background is that, we're able to help you navigate through a lot of these problems and provide solutions. And that's what we're there for, or just to help get you to be, more forward in regards to how you could run your business as well.
Yep. And then the other one is the class on the price guide and how to make yourself a more profitable detail shop. So I think, and we have two that are more hands-on, but I'd like to speak to those two. One thing that, we've definitely noticed that we all say we learn as we grow through the industry here, but as a team here at Autogeek, I don't think we've serviced the class in the terms of how to run the business. You can teach them how to be a detailer, but most of these guys, they just don't have the business background. So we're really excited that Justin and Robin both run successful shops. They're, they're profitable, they're making a living. So that's something we want to make sure, because you can teach these kids how to, polish a car, apply the ceramic coating. But if they can't run their books or they can't figure out how to price things, that it's not going to be a successful situation. So we have two business classes, and then we have, I believe, Justin, you've got try all the coatings type of a class and a try all the polisher type of class. So it's more of a hands-on, one of those things that, you talked about, Justin's good at taking the fear away. So I think those two classes will be great for the show. And I'm glad that we're hitting some of the business topics too.
No, the hands-on part is going to be great, again, because of Autogeek having, the biggest distribution platform with so many brands in-house and others, that this is something that allows you to get your personal comparison for your business model, for your atmosphere, whether you're in humid, hot Florida or dry California, whatever it may be, and you're coming to Kentucky, you'll be able to get your hands on all that. And with the polishers, you'll be able to test drive all these different polishers to get a feel for what is the best feel for you and the extension of what's going to be another part of your body, essentially, if you put a lot of time in with the polisher. But going back to the pricing aspect, that is something that I've always in the past touched on. I've done a couple of classes with Keith Duplessis, and of course, Rod and Joni know the breakdown of my pricing structure. And that's something that it's a very common factor and question that's asked a lot, because a lot of people don't know how to price things and don't understand how to understand their personal value. Right. And, a lot of people eventually do get it, but the majority doesn't. And I hate to say that. And that's something that I've really, really focused on. And I've had what I consider a living document that went from the standard small, medium, large, cars, trucks, SUVs, and those categories turned into subcategories to really dial in the vehicle size, because that's what it comes down to, is size and condition. And then you go from there, and I'll be able to go ahead and cover all that in regards to the depth, because that runs deep, as Jody and Rod have seen, and they've studied that price guide, and they were amazed by it as well. So, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but 13 years of putting that price guide together, I'm patting myself on the back because it's very valuable.
No, you should. You absolutely should, because it is very well put together. It's not too enormous to kind of put your hands around. And the other thing I think that people aren't realizing is as you put that price guide together, and this is something we focus on as well, is you have to put your consumables in there. You have to bundle in your products, your wear and tear on your polisher, your pad, your rags, your products, whether you're using 3 ounces or 4 ounces of something, you have to put that into your price, because otherwise that just goes out the window. And you've got to cover those costs and make money on it, because you're buying it at a wholesale level. And if the consumer had to go buy that, they would not be buying it at a wholesale level. So you've got to build in that pricing structure so that it covers, as you said, Justin, your time, your value, and your knowledge. That they're paying you because of the knowledge you have to apply those products in the correct way with the correct temperatures and coatings and everything else. That's valuable. Put that into your pricing. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah. So the gist of it, it'll make you more profitable, and it doesn't matter what market you're in.
Yep.
And that's the whole point, to help everybody who comes to my class or any other class, just to help you guys be more successful overall. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, I mean, that's what we have for the educational, what we could speak on for what we know who's here on the podcast. But we definitely got some, great instructors that are going to be hosting other classes as well. So my advice is to look at that list and be able to go through and get as much under your belt as you can within those 2 days. And that way you could get as much out of the event and get your return on investment. Let's look at it, and let's face it, it costs money. If you're traveling to Kentucky, it's going to cost money to travel. It's going to cost money to stay there at the hotel, to eat, to shut your business down if you have to and lose revenue. So here's the thing. When you're going to events like this, the best way to get your return is to be a sponge. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you speak. That way you can intake and absorb all that you can to bring it back to your hometown to be the best you can at what you do for business and craft.
Yep.
Absolutely. If they go to southerndetailersconference.com, click on the attend link and go to education, it's a full list. Everything's listed there of all the classes and times, so they can make the schedule and bring a tote bag, because there's going to be plenty of booths there that you can get samples and tools and handouts and everything to take back with you to your place of business.
Yeah, and to touch on that, I would recommend you don't put that in a carry-on. You're going to have a check bag. So you might have to get an additional bag when you leave SDC so you could check it. No carry-on. You cannot carry on any of those consumables and or polishers. Trust me when I tell you, I know.
Yep, you gotta ship them.
So as far as, just go around real quick, we'll start with you, John. As far as the booth, give us your booth number and maybe some contact information if people want to look up pro products leading up to.
Geez, now you're putting me on the spot. I didn't even know we had
The biggest one in the convention center.
Yeah, exactly.
The front row.
Well, put it this way.
When you walk in the door,
When you walk in the door, I know I'm going to be next to Autogeek, Road FS, and Detail Bookie as a diamond sponsor. So
That's right, front row.
that's the
all
booth
I
number.
know.
Or
like 1
601,
through 4,
John.
that's us.
It's 601, John.
Oh, great. Thank you, Megan. Justin, we're in booth 601. Come see us at Pro Products at booth 601.
Thank you, John.
I don't think I could ever tell you what booth number
You know,
we were
we
in.
if you can't find us at Southern Detailers Conference, then I'm not doing my job, because we have 2 giant speakers and we're the loudest idiots there. So we're gonna have the sound system and the podcast going, and we're right next to John. So so that's either 600 or 602, however that works,
Or 501.
or 501.
501.
And then
501. That's
what do
us.
we have for Dustin, Detail Bookie? What booth is he at?
301.
301. So they're doing it by aisles. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So he's 301. Yep.
Gotcha.
And
Okay,
Dustin's booth is phenomenal. It's electronic. It's always really cool. He's like the rock star of the detailing software
Yeah,
industry.
exactly.
So
he does have a pretty neat booth. Megan, Autogeek's booth.
We are 101, but like everybody said, you come in the front door, the whole front row will be all of us there, including Dustin. So should it be too hard to find us? If it is, then we all have done something wrong.
Yep, and then of course Buff and Shine will be booth 604. Now, with that, is there anything else you guys want to add in regards to SDC? Anything
Book your tickets.
Book your tickets if you haven't. The
Come
other thing
see
is it's
us.
very unique in the sense that they have an open bar during the show. There's a car show at the back of it, which was a huge success last year. There's cars there. It's just a unique experience, and you should go and take a video camera. That's my advice. Is I watched some people last year in the trainings, they were videoing it so that they could review it when they got home. Not a bad idea. I would ask your instructor if they're okay with that before you do that. Some people are not okay with that, and that's cool. Some of us are, and that's cool as well. So just, go there, have fun, soak it up. Like Justin said, I think that's probably the best advice. Just absolutely be a sponge and soak up everything you can, and get to this show, because it is absolutely the only show that I know of that is built by detailers for detailers, strictly with the focus being on making you a better detailer.
I'm quite confident that you will get your $15. If you're just doing the expo only, you will get more
Oh
than
my
that
gosh.
on return on investment. And if you're going to do the expo plus the training, you're in at $150, and still very worthwhile, very much will get your return on investment. I know there's quite a few booths I've seen on blogs that are offering giveaways as far as polishers. So
Yep.
Us included.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few. So you have a great chance of walking away with a $400 or $500 tool.
Oh yeah. Yep. We have Flex, Rupes, we have Buff and Shine. There's tons of stuff that we're doing as giveaways. I know that Ryan and Dustin at Detail Bookie have some giveaways as well. Buff and Shine is always really good at giving away. I don't know how you guys stay in business, because they give away thousands of dollars in pads every time you're there. So
It's
yeah.
$500, just to be sure. We do a raffle. Don't get carried away. Just because we gave you that one time, just
No, I benefited heavily from a lack of wanting to haul the pads home after they had been used. So
awesome. Any advice, Megan, that you have for?
I think if anybody's on the fence, there's not many places that you can go where you're going to get to talk to the manufacturers face to face, get this kind of training. And I think the classes are great and everything, but just walking up to, Justin, let's just say you're in Buff and Shine booth and somebody's been having some problems with pads, like you're going right to the source. And, you can't, as a detailer, walk into many events where you're going to have this many manufacturers or distributors or vendors that you can walk up to, and they're going to give you their undivided attention until whatever it is that you need is taken care of. And I just, for a detailer, it's the golden ticket. It's the Willy Wonka right here of detailing world. So if you are on the fence, you need to come on.
I like it. That's the best way to say it right there. She got all of you. I'm sorry. The Willy Wonka statement. I mean, that right there sealed the deal. No, thank you guys for being on. We are coming up on time. So much, much appreciated. I definitely look forward to seeing all of you and Dustin at
and Dustin and
SDC.
Ryan.
Yep. So that way we could all get together, and it's definitely going to be a good time. Hope to see everybody there that we know, and some new faces as well. So again, Reflection Artist Live, episode number 68, with all of our wonderful diamond sponsors for the Southern Detailers Conference 2022. So hopefully everybody that is on the fence, maybe you make a different decision, and we'll see you out there. And everybody who is going to have a good time. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting, Justin.
Thanks for having us, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys take care.
All right.
See you next week.
All right, take
See
care.
y'all soon.
Next week.
Next
It's
week.
already next week.
Next week.
No,
It's
I
next
still got to pack.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye.